Hey everyone, can everyone hear me okay? Is the sound working okay? Someone just let me know in the comments if you can all hear me. I'm using some new equipment and I just want to make sure that it's all working right. Great, thank you very much. So welcome everyone. Before we get into it, I just want to apologize in advance if there are any technical hitches. As I said, I'm using new equipment and I'm also streaming to multiple platforms at once, which I've never actually done before. It should be okay, but if there are any technical glitches, I apologize in advance. So just please bear with me. Okay, so why are we all here? It's because of a recent announcement that was posted on JW.org, which I will just bring up in just a second. So you should all be able to see that now. So I'll just read it briefly. We are pleased to inform you that the governing body has decided that barring any local government restrictions, we will encourage all congregations to begin holding in-person meetings the week of April 1st. This will mean that in most cases, congregations will be able to meet in person for the memorial. Further details will be sent to each congregation. So the day that PIMOs have been dreading is close to arriving, April 1st. In-person meetings will resume. Now, I don't think that this message intended to mean that Zoom meetings will cease. Zoom meetings were a thing before the pandemic. I'm sure they'll be here for the foreseeable future. But the difference is that at the moment, there are no in-person meetings anywhere. From the 1st of April, that will change. Some congregations will still presumably stay on Zoom meetings if they have COVID restrictions locally, or for maybe some other considerations may be taken into account. But there will be at least some congregations going back to in-person meetings. So I thought it would just be a good idea to have a discussion about it. And I particularly would like to hear from any PIMOs out there who are in one of these congregations that are going back to in-person meetings. How do you feel about this? How is this going to impact on your status in the congregation? Are you currently fading? If so, how is this change going to affect that? Have you stopped going to the meetings altogether since the pandemic started? And if you intend to not return, how are you going to go about announcing that? Because it's going to be more obvious that you're not at the meetings when in-person meetings resume, as opposed to now when you can just, I guess, fake it. So if these are things that you're concerned about, please, I would love to hear from you. I'm going to post a link to the live stream, and there it is down below. I will be putting that up again periodically, just in case anybody misses it. And I will also post it in the live chat as well. So that's the link. If you would like to come on camera, if you're comfortable doing so, please just click that link. And yeah, you can come on the channel and we can discuss it. So something else that I need to apologize for, I am actually on my own today. Mrs. Jexit is unfortunately unavailable, and she usually acts as my producer when I'm doing a live stream. So I'm doing multiple things at once. So please bear with me. I will try to put as much comments up as I possibly can. Okay, so let's see. Oh, wow, there are a lot of comments already. Let me see now. So this comment is from Alex Wexler. I hope I pronounced it properly. It sounds German. Hi, Alex. Thanks for your comment. Annual memorial dumpster fire. So I guess you're talking about the memorial and the lack of attendance that you're expecting, I guess. And I think that's a very valid point. Even if you're not PIMO, I mean, even like fully PIMI, full believing Jehovah's Witnesses who have gotten so used to attending meetings from home, I don't suppose any of them are too thrilled about going back to in-person meetings either. So it may very well be a very sparse attendance for the memorial in a lot of congregations. Polygraph says the announcement is missing today after being up for only 3 days. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Just before I came on, I went onto the jw.org website to look for the announcement, and I couldn't find it anywhere. So I had to go and get a screenshot that someone posted on Twitter. So I have no idea why they've taken that announcement down. Maybe it's just to make way for something else, or maybe there's, you know, a review going on behind the scenes. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Sophia, hi Sophia, thanks for joining. I will find out on Tuesday if my JW in-laws will be going back in Southern California. That's right. So please keep us informed, or keep me informed. Let me know how that turns out. RC, good to hear from you. Hi, Mr. Riley. It's been a while. Looking forward to hearing from PIMOs. Yeah, me too. Me too, definitely. Okay, here's a PIMO. PIMO JW observations. I'm a new PIMO. I will not be going. I'm trying to fade, but several immediate family members are pressuring me. Wow. I can't imagine how hard that must be. You know, so please, if you could just write another comment and let us know, or if you're comfortable coming on camera, please feel free to do so. Obviously, you can turn your camera off, but it will be good to actually hear your voice if you're comfortable doing that. If not, please just write another comment and let us know what things have been like during the pandemic so far up until now. How have you been managing your fade? Just you know, let us know. I'd love to hear from you, and I'm sure the other viewers would as well. Thank you. Okay, extra cheese, please. Does this mean that we are in the final part of COVID? Perhaps the last day of the last days of COVID since meetings are resuming. Very funny. I think we're in the final second of the final millisecond of the final minute of the final nanosecond of COVID. Undoubtedly. Okay. Another comment from Sophia. Not looking forward to the added pressure from my in-laws to my POMI partner. They've amped up the BS lately. Yeah, I'm sure they have, especially with the whole situation that's going on in Ukraine at the moment. And I think it's really, I mean, I was considering doing a video on that whole thing, but several creators have done such a superb job of covering that topic already anyway. I don't really think there's much more that I can add. Just for reference, Altworldly and JW Thoughts channels have both done excellent videos. Oh, also JW Diaries done excellent videos on the Russia-Ukraine situation. So I suggest you go and watch those. You won't be disappointed. But yeah, since this whole situation has happened, the JWs are really ramping up the rhetoric, you know, and I've actually seen some become really excited, like they're happy about what's happening, which I think is just disgusting. You know, it just goes to show the lack of self-awareness that a lot of people have in this organization, that they're actually rejoicing and getting excited over what is, you know, people dying, literally people dying, and they're feeling glad because it's, in their minds at least, proving their point. It's really terrible. A is for apostate. Hi, thanks for joining. One of my fellow ExJW activists, sending lots of support to PIMOs so they cannot show back up and successfully empty the kingdom halls. Oh, sorry, I forgot to put it up. There it is. Absolutely, I 100% agree with you. Oh, also, if there are any activists out there that want to join me and co-host this live stream, please feel free. You're more than welcome. Okay, a comment from Maureen Taylor. They're hoping the situation with Russia and the UK will scare people into memorial attendance. That's a very good point. That is a very good point. Because usually after like some kind of major world event happens, you see a spike in meeting attendance. I definitely remember that was the case after 9/11. In fact, I had a carpenter doing some work in my house at the time, and he was an inactive witness. He was raised as a witness, but never got baptized, and he'd been inactive since he was like in his late teens, early 20s. But I remember he was working in my house, and we were having a talk about the events of 9/11. And he was 100% convinced that this was fulfilling Bible prophecy. And he has been at every single meeting since. He got baptized, I think maybe like a couple of years after that. The last I spoke to him, he was serving as a ministerial servant in his congregation. And he may very well be an elder now. I mean, I've been away for 3 years, so he may very well be an elder now. But yeah, that's the effect that these events have. And not just the events, the rhetoric that the witnesses put behind them as well. Yeah, unfortunately, it does scare people into going back. Godly Beard says, returning to the halls makes this so-called end time look very weak. Yeah, I guess so. Oh, I had a reply from PIMO JW Observations. My husband is in the house and the current assembly is going on, so I can't talk now, but would like to soon. See, the life of a PIMO. Oh man, I can't imagine what stress you must be under, honestly. Thank you so much for joining. But if this is going to blow your cover, then feel free to, catch the replay. I wouldn't want to be the cause for you, getting into any trouble. But, I really do appreciate the effort for you to participate. Thank you. Okay, a comment from Seaglass Searcher. Many fully in members are not happy about the, I guess you mean, return. Yeah, I can imagine that as well. I think it must be the case for a lot of older ones as well. A lot of elderly Jehovah's Witnesses who, find going to the meetings a physical struggle. They probably thought it was a godsend, being able to attend the meeting from their home. And now that that's coming to an end, I can definitely imagine that a lot of them won't be happy about it. Okay, let's see some more comments. Okay, just as a reminder, here is the link for the live stream if you want to join. Okay, let's do some more comments. Oh, wow, that was loud. Sorry, I forgot to put my phone on silent. It might vibrate periodically. I do apologize. Okay, some more comments. Awake.com. I've spoken to you several times before. Yeah, thank you. I recognize your username. Thanks for joining. The pandemic helped me leave. Initially, I would get the sound and camera off, managed to move away from the area and not join the meetings at all. Right, so presumably this announcement wouldn't really affect you since you've now concluded your fade. Yeah. But it's great that, the pandemic provided such a great opportunity for people to make their exit. It really did. Not that the pandemic happening is a good thing. Obviously, it was a tragedy for so many people. Okay, a comment from Yuppie Yappa Yup. Interesting name. My PIMI parents are very, very worried that there may be some non-fully and boosted attending, even young kids not old enough to be fully. I guess you were going to say vaccinated. Okay, so this is an interesting point. So your parents are concerned about the infection spreading again because of people who haven't been vaccinated going back to the Kingdom Hall. Yeah, that's an interesting point. Okay, another reply from PIMO JW Observations. I've been talking to family members for years about many doubts I've had, mainly about modern science and especially the COVID jabs. So it is very awkward right now. Yeah, I can imagine it's extremely awkward. Actually, I was reading a book recently, and excuse me, it made the point that scientific progression continually proves parts of the Bible wrong as time goes on. So yeah, the comment you made about modern science just reminded me of that. Okay, Godly Beard. How can they tell JWs the end is near when they are going back to normal JW life? Yeah, so this is the thing about the organization. And it's something that I learned about recently from watching a channel called Theremin Trees. And a lot of the content on the channel is about narcissistic abuse. And this religion definitely has a lot of narcissistic tendencies. And one of those is called the double bind, where an organization, a group, or a person will put you into a situation where no matter what you do, no matter what choice you make, they always end up on top. So you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. And the organization does this spectacularly. So they'll present this narrative and they'll have like a backup plan if the narrative fails. So whatever happens, they look like they're in the right. So this conflict that's going on in Eastern Europe, to them, on one side, they have the narrative that this is a sign of the end, wars, disease, food shortages, rising prices. This is all signs of the end. But then when the war ends and everything goes back to normal and the world is more or less fine, they can say, well, this is the calm before the storm. This is all leading up to the peace and security thing. So whether things go badly or things go well, it fits into their narrative. And that's a double bind that narcissists use to try and control people. And yeah, it's really, really sick. I mean, once you've woken up and you can see it for what it is, that takes away its power. But for fully indoctrinated people, they're completely trapped. Okay, so a comment from a PIMO, the Don. As a PIMO, I was destroyed hearing we are going back to the Kingdom Hall. My faith has been quite okay during the pandemic. Still attended meetings, though due to pressure from others I live with, it sucks. Yeah. So if you don't mind me asking, what are you going to do? What are your plans? Please let me know in the comments, or if you're able to join the stream. We'd love to hear from you. And A is for apostate, my friend Johanna. Nothing like atrocities like mass death and violence to make the most loving people chosen by God giddy. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's really, really terrible. The lack of empathy is just astonishing. Okay, comment from Outside the Box. I'm out of the org since the COVID started. I wouldn't want to go back to the Kingdom Hall anyway, no matter what. Perhaps some JWs are excited to go back to Kingdom Hall, but probably PIMOs would not like to do so. Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure that there are many, many PIMOs who are just dreading going back. I know if I was still in the organization at this time, I would absolutely dread going back. I mean, about a year before I left, I had no interest in going to the Kingdom Hall whatsoever. I was dreading every single meeting, and I just sat there, just completely zoned out, just completely disengaged. So I can imagine it would be, even worse for PIMOs right now, especially after having for like 2 years plus not going to the Kingdom Hall. Yeah. Okay, comment from Sparkle Canada. My JW husband has been hyper delusional and mega narcissistic lately. At least I know the real reason behind it all, not letting it get to me. I just do me. That's all you can do, just do what's best for you. Okay, this is an interesting comment from Dan Toinette Taylor. The outbreak of the war between Ukraine and Russia has certainly seen a spike in meeting attendance at my former congregation, for which I still have the Zoom link. Wow. So how much of an increase would you say, if you don't mind replying, Dan Toinette? Thank you very much for your comment. Okay, here's an interesting comment. Cyber AKTIF66 says, Ukraine has more JWs than us here in Canada. Wow, I didn't know that. That's interesting. Yet they are rejoicing. You know, not all of them will survive. Around 135,000 witnesses there. I feel for every individual in Ukraine. Yeah, it's true. I mean, they're rejoicing, and some of their own brothers, will undoubtedly lose their lives in this conflict. Oh, Nesbo, thank you for joining, Nesbo. Love and thoughts to all the PIMOs out there. I'm sure all the PIMOs watching will appreciate those sentiments. Thank you. And Matt, my friend Matt from the Falling Tower. Thanks for joining, Matt. It was definitely a shock to many of us when we used to book venues for the memorial. We did it many months in advance. It has caught many PIMO and PIMI elders off guard. Yeah, I'm sure it has. And Mrs. Jexit, Mrs. Jexit has posted a comment. Can you put the link in the chat? Yes, I meant to. I'm so sorry. I will do that right now. Let me just get the link again. Okay, so here is the link. It is coming up in the chat any minute now. Right, yeah. So I've just put the link in the chat and I'll put it on screen again. There we go. Okay, another comment from Johanna. If PIMIs return, I hope some are brave to share their doubts so they can find each other and dismantle the cult even quicker from the inside. Can't join the live stream. The dogs are here and loud today. No problem, Joanna. Thank you for your input. Another comment from Sophia. Surprisingly enough, my POMI partner is not freaking out over the war. His parents are definitely pushing the Armageddon stuff, but my husband has not shown any interest in going back to the Kingdom Hall. Well, that's a plus, at least. That's a small, what's the word, consolation. At least he's not, interested in going back for now. Okay, another comment from awake.com. What I worry is an avalanche of friends, elders, etc. contacting me to find out what's going on. No one knows where I moved to. I'm not officially out. The new announcement made me nervous. Yeah. Well, I guess at least it is some small consolation that you're physically away from them. Of course, they can still contact you, but in all honesty, you're under no obligation to reply to any of their messages if they do. You know, it's not as if you're going to bump into them at the Kingdom Hall next week so that they can say to you, oh, well, how come you didn't reply to my text or answer my voicemail or whatever. You could just block them. You know, a big part of waking up is realizing that the elders and the congregation and the people in it don't really have any power over you. And that's something that I realized that's something that I wish I had realized before I left the religion. You know, I didn't realize that until afterwards. Another comment from Nesbo. I don't think I'd want to be sipping from the same glass of wine as someone else in the congregation, especially after it's been fingered by everyone else on its way. Thank you. And yes, Theremin Trees is amazing. It is definitely, it's not an ExJW channel per se, but it does have some ExJW content on there, but all of the content on there is applicable in some way, shape, or form. I highly recommend that channel. Bob, a comment from Bob. Hey, Jexit and Marsha, hope you're both well. Hey, everyone. Sorry if I've missed this question, but do people think they will make the JWs go back on the ministry? That's a really, really good question. And I was wondering that myself. I mean, does going back to in-person meetings also mean going back to the door-to-door work? You know, in some ways, I think that's a more terrifying thought than going back to the meetings. Because even some PIMO witnesses hate the door-to-door work, let alone a PIMO who doesn't believe a word of it. Yeah. Any PIMOs out there, if you have any thoughts on this, please let me know. Drop a comment in the live chat or join the stream. And Bob also says, I feel so bad for PIMOs, but even PIMIs, they don't want to go back. Yeah, absolutely. Here's another PIMO, Ron. I talked with a group of PIMIs last week. They 100% believed they were never going back to normal. I don't know how they feel now. Yeah. I'm sure they're not thrilled. Oh, Nesbo. Hey, Bob, I heard a rumor of September, just a rumor though, not seen anything official. That's an interesting bit of information. Yeah, so mark September in your calendars and see what happens. I think they will all hate it. And also, I don't think worldlies will like people knocking their doors again. Yeah, I'm sure that if they knew that the witnesses were coming back, they wouldn't be thrilled either. They've had 2 years of relative peace and security. And now sudden destruction will be instantly upon them on a Saturday morning. Oh, don't mind me. Okay, so we have a guest in the green room, Ron PIMO. Okay, let me just add you to the stream. Oops, give me 1 second. Sorry, as I said, I'm doing multiple things at once. Okay, here we go.
Hi, Riley.
Hey, Ron, thanks for joining us. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm great, thank you. So
I thought someone should get on here and talk with you.
Sorry, say it again.
I thought someone should get on here and talk with you.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. So tell us your thoughts on returning to the in-person meeting.
It's stressful, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Interesting point about the ministry too. Who knows what? I wondered if that was going to come back first before meetings. But now it seems like meetings first, and then they'll figure out the ministry later. Hope you're not getting in that.
Yeah, it does seem like that's the way it's going to be. So before the pandemics and before the Kingdom Hall closed, were you attending the meetings in person?
I didn't wake up until last summer.
Oh, so you're newly awakened.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So you haven't known what it's like to be a PIMO at the Kingdom Hall.
Yeah, and I'm the guy who wears his emotions on his sleeve, so that's gonna be tricky.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm the same way. And when I was attending meetings, I wasn't quite PIMO. I was very, very discouraged for some really good reasons and very disillusioned with the religion. And I could not hide my reluctance to be there. I couldn't hide it at all. You know, I couldn't hide that I wasn't interested. I couldn't hide that I wasn't paying attention. It was just obvious.
Right.
Yeah. So how have you been fading during this time? Have you been like attending the Zoom meetings, but like turning off your camera and then walking off and doing other things? Or have you just not attended the Zoom meetings at all? What has it been like?
No. You know, we're not on camera. A lot of them. You know, last week was the first meeting I ever went to that I just muted it and walked away and did other things.
Right. So have you decided what you're going to do when in-person meetings returns in your area?
Not yet. That's a decision for me and my wife to make, and she's not at the same part that I am. You know, not the same stage I am. So that's going to be interesting. You know, she already though brought up with her family that there might be, which I've heard a lot of PIMOs talk about, their PIMI families already having their excuses in order, because a lot of PIMIs don't want to go back. That's the impression I've been getting. And sorry, I might need to turn my speakers down. I don't know. Some people in the comments were saying they're getting an echo.
Oh, right. Okay. Maybe I should turn my volume down a little.
I don't have a headset and all that stuff, so I apologize, people.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to put my headset on because the echo is probably feedback from my speakers. Just bear with me a second. Okay, can you still hear me?
I can hear you fine. I hope I'm not getting an echo, everybody.
Oh, I don't think I changed it. Okay, that's better. Okay, that should take care of the echo, I hope. If you still hear an echo, just let me know and I'll see what else I can do. Yeah, so I'm sorry about the technical glitch. What was the last thing you were saying?
I forget to. Sorry. I got the impression a lot of PIMIs don't want to go back either. And so coming up with those excuses, which some of them are excuses, talked with my wife, anxiety, you know, anxiety is a real thing and people have to respect you if you say, you know, I'm too anxious. And I think a lot of people are anxious after the pandemic, you know, so hopefully we have some more time. And, you know, we still don't know. I don't think the letters have leaked, like what the requirements are to go back, if it's fully vaccinated people or, you know, masks the whole time, all that. So it'll be interesting to see how it all rolls out.
That's true. That's something that I hadn't thought of, actually. It's probably not just going to be like a free for all, like everybody back, you know, all at once.
I can't imagine it. Yeah. No. We have CO visit next month, and I can almost guarantee you they're not going to be allowed to go to a crowded Kingdom Hall, you know, from their managers above them telling them what to do. So
yeah. So maybe there is some hope. Maybe the restrictions will make it, you know, impractical for people to go back to the meetings en masse. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
But best wishes to all those other PIMOs out there.
Thank you. I'm sure they appreciate that. And I definitely appreciate you joining me on the stream as well. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Take care. Okay. I just posted the link in the live chat again. I'll just put it back up on the screen. Yeah, so there's the link to join the live stream. If you would like to join the live stream and you're a PIMO, I'd really love to hear your perspective on this. So if you feel comfortable, please feel free to join. Okay, let's go to some more comments. Okay, comment from Jokic. Sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly. I am PIMO faded, possibly would exit, but my life profoundly affected. The idea of nuclear weapons getting used is horrible. Humans are so self-destructive. Yeah, absolutely, it is terrible. And you mentioned that your life would be profoundly affected if you did like completely exit the organization. Would you feel comfortable, elaborating on that and going into more detail? If so, please drop a comment, or if you're able to join the stream. Okay. Here's a comment from Nesbo. This was to Matt from the Falling Tower. You booked venues for the memorial, the Falling Tower. They weren't held at the Kingdom Hall. Yeah, so this is interesting. At my local congregation as well, when I was a witness, we didn't have memorials at the Kingdom Hall either, because the attendance was just too much for the Kingdom Hall to hold. It was above capacity. So we routinely hired out a hall in the local area that was big enough to accommodate 3 congregations at once. So that's what we did. I presume that in Matt's area, it was a similar situation. But Matt, if you're still around and you're able to answer Nesbo's comment, please do. Okay, so we have someone else in the green room. Gratefully Deved. Welcome to the stream. Okay, so we have someone else in the green room. Gratefully Deved.
I think we spelled that wrong.
To the stream. Okay. I think I can hear an echo. Would you mind just muting your speakers, please? Or if you're, I think you have like the video up on YouTube at the same time as you're joining the stream. If you could just close that temporarily. I think you have like the video up on YouTube at the same time as you're joining the stream. Can you hear me? Gratefully Deved.
Yeah, let me see here. There was a little bit of feedback there. I don't know. Is that coming from me?
Yeah, if you just close down the YouTube tab that you've got open, and you just have the StreamYard. There was a little bit of feedback. Oh, we've lost him. Hopefully you can resolve the technical issue and come back. Okay, in the meantime, let's have some more comments. Okay, I probably should say for anyone else who would like to join the stream, when you do join, please close down the video on YouTube. If you've got that open up on a separate tab, please close that down and then join solely on the StreamYard link. Okay. Oh, Bob is here. Let's add Bob to the stream. Hi, Bob.
Hello.
How are you doing? Great to have you.
I'm well, thank you. I hope you and Marcy are okay.
We are absolutely fine. Thank you very much for asking.
Good. Love to you both. I just thought I'd pop on and say hello. Really interesting topic that you've got on today.
Thank you.
What I was going to say was, with the going back to the Kingdom Halls, obviously I'm UK based and my family are still in. And my family can't even go back to their Kingdom Hall because they sold it during the pandemic.
Oh, wow.
I know. So I think that will be quite interesting because a lot of the Kingdom Halls, as we know, have been sold. And when they do go back, they're going to be going back to completely different Kingdom Halls anyway. So my family's Kingdom Hall is actually another 15 minutes drive on from their original Kingdom Hall. So I don't know. I just think it's going to be really upsetting for a lot of PIMEs as well as PIMOs because even when they go back, they're not even going back to their original home, their original Kingdom Hall. It's going to be so different for so many people, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. That's something I never thought about, actually.
Yeah,
The fact that so many Kingdom Halls have been closed and
yeah,
sold. Also, there was something that I saw recently about UK Kingdom Halls losing their charity status,
yes,
which is really interesting. I don't know how
yeah,
that is all going to play out into this situation, but there's definitely something going on there.
yeah,
Not one,
yeah,
I mean, because I know it's different in the US, but here in the UK, up until now, all congregations have been their own charity. They've had like a separate charity status from the
yes,
organization as a whole. Each
yes,
congregation was a registered charity, and the body of elders were the trustees of that charity. But
yeah.
not one single UK charity has filed its accounts on time
Hmm.
so far. Not one single Kingdom Hall congregation has filed their accounts on time.
Right.
That can't be a coincidence or by accident.
No, no.
That's got to be indicative of something, some kind of policy change going on.
Yeah, something's definitely afoot, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I used to help with the accounts. I say that in inverted commas because I actually used to do the accounts, but obviously because I was a sister, that was all kept hush hush.
Mm.
And so it's just really interesting because I don't have access to that. I would have been able to get information about why the accounts weren't filed, but obviously I can't do that anymore. But I'll do a bit of sneaking around, Riley, see what I can find out.
Please do. I'd love to hear what you find out.
I will. I'll report back. But
Yeah.
yeah, I just
Henceforth,
wanted
you will be
to.
known as Agent Bob.
Agent Bob, yeah. 007.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll jump off now again and let somebody else come on and say hello to you. But lovely to speak to you, my love. All right.
Likewise. Take care.
Okay, bye, darling. Bye.
Bye-bye. And we have Gratefully Deceived back again. I hope.
Let's see if that works.
Yep, that sounds much better.
Oh, good.
Great.
Yeah.
So, how are you doing?
Good. Yeah, we enjoying your live cast there. Yeah, my wife.
Thank
and
you
I.
very much. Thank you. So, I take it that you are PIMO.
We are very emo. Yeah.
Right. So it's you and your partner?
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
And are you faded or are you currently fading?
We are about 90% faded. We're just trying to stay that way.
Right.
And I think the COVID, and the shutdown facilitated that for us. And then we just kind of did the during the COVID thing, we did the hall move. And then the hall move, we moved our cards a couple of times. They seem to have gotten lost in the transition.
Hmm.
So that was a little, what do you call it? Theocratic warfare.
Yeah. And when did you start your fade? Was it pre or post pandemic?
A little bit of both. I would say. I think I served as an elder for about 2 decades.
Oh, wow.
And got involved in a little issue back in the 90s where I kind of a seen behind the curtains and realized that there was some serious problems. It was an apostasy trial. And some things were revealed in that basically didn't set well with me, but I just pushed it down for probably another 15 years. So
wow.
But we have a lot to lose too. So I mean, we're trying to keep
Right.
everybody we got both ways. So anyway, but my wife has joined me, and we enjoy these secret meetings, secret behind enemy lines.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
So have you decided what you're going to do, if in-person meetings returns in your area?
We're right now, strangely enough, we're not getting any direct pressure from a specific congregation. Ironically, I think we moved our cards to a congregation that was in deep trouble.
Oh,
And
I see.
literally, I think they lost. I think that somehow it got lost in the transit, which was the design.
Right.
There was a congregation that's been, the circuit overseers put out the call they need in the middle of the pandemic that it was in trouble. So we chose that congregation to move to, which we didn't move to, but so hopefully that part, but right now already we're getting a lot of friends and family that are pressuring us to like, hey, you go back or this or that. We'll I guess the next couple of weeks we'll wait and see. So yeah. I mean, we're not going to go back. We just got to figure out how to do it. We can't. We can't in good conscience do that anymore.
Right.
In a long time, I felt like we could salvage the good in the organization. There was a good part and a bad part, and we could salvage the good, do the good things for people, and just disregard the bad. I never, we long ago had got away from the concept that Jehovah was going to just save practicing Jehovah's Witnesses and kill everybody else on the face of the planet. I mean, we kind of worked away from that theology because of our own failed theology, but I still kind of felt like we could do good, but it's getting harder, especially with the CSA cases and some of the stuff that the legal department, it's just getting to the point where I can't in good conscience support it. It just doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, I totally understand that. I mean, I've spoken to some PIMO elders who are still serving because they feel that they can, be the voice of reason, and do some good and help out young ones who get into trouble and things like that. And I have a lot of admiration for them for thinking about others to that degree that they'd be so self-sacrificing. But I think that this organization is so dictatorial, it's so authoritative, and so inflexible that ultimately I think it's a doomed task.
It is. It's a tough. They have taken away more and more personal freedoms, choices, and the elders, and so they're on a tighter and tighter. They're on a tighter and tighter thing. Yeah, it's all the way. So I don't know. It's just hard to say. It's hard to say at the end of the road, how you can do that. I think it starts. Excuse me. It starts that way, but it gets tougher to do every step of the way.
Wow. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your perspective. I really do appreciate that.
Hey, thanks for the show. Keep it up.
Thank you. And I wish you and your wife all the best.
Thanks.
All right. Take care. And we have another guest, Aposticate. That's a great name. Aposticate, can you hear us?
Hi, yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you just fine. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for letting me in.
Great. So would you like to share your thoughts on this announcement?
Yeah, well, so I have woken up in November 2019, before the COVID started.
Right.
And I was going to the meetings as a PIMO, and it was a horrible experience because it was like very fresh and I was so emotional. And during every meeting, I was about to cry, but I needed to keep my emotions like under control. And then when COVID hit, I was like, oh gosh, I mean, I felt that it was some kind of blessing for me because like I didn't have to be like preparing to do meetings, and it was so easy for me. And now the meetings are going to start again, and I'm horrified.
Oh, man.
At least I know that I don't have this emotional attachment anymore, so it will be a lot easier. But anyways, I think for all PIMOs, it's gonna be tough.
Yeah, definitely. And do you have a lot of like family pressure as well to keep up appearances?
Yeah, because actually my family is very big. We're like 10 siblings. So,
wow.
And I guess I'm the only PIMO, and everyone else, they are very still in this religion. But I have moved out like 6 months ago, so I live alone, and they don't look what I'm doing, and it's much easier now to be myself and live my life. But anyway,
sure.
I need to still keep this pretense that I believe. And it's very stressful.
Wow, having such a large family just adds another layer of complexity to the whole situation because you've got that much more to lose.
Of course.
If you were to be honest about how you feel towards the religion.
Yeah, and like this losing my parents, that's the worst thing. And this is what keeping me in, because I love them too much to give them this kind of pain that it will cause. And this is what's keeping me PIMO, like 2 years already. Horrible.
Oh man, I really feel for you. Honestly, I can't imagine, how distressing this situation must be for you.
Yes, it is. But well, let's see what's gonna be. And actually, I'm from Poland, and now we have the situation with the war. Ukrainian people are coming, and I don't know exactly what it is in Jehovah's Witnesses' minds, but since it was all in Zoom, all in internet, it was much easier to hide. But now if they are to go back to the kingdom halls, so I think their paranoia is getting bigger, because it will be so much easier, at least in their minds, for like Russian authorities to find them, to catch them, locate them. So they must be really horrified about the situation. And the meetings, I think they are even will give them more stress than like meeting in Zoom. So very interesting situation now in Poland.
Of course. And have you decided what you're going to do, if in-person meetings returns to your congregation?
Actually, the congregation I'm now attending, they have sold their kingdom hall before the pandemic.
Okay.
So like it's the same situation as the two colors before, I guess.
Yeah.
So I think they will keep it online, or they will use another kingdom hall. But I was at the meeting today, and there were no official information about this. So I don't know what are the plans.
Right. So it's going to be an interesting few weeks to come, when more information gradually filters down.
Yeah. And if there will be meetings in person, I think I will be going like maybe once in a month, just to show my face, just to let them know that I'm still in. I don't know. But at least since I'm always putting my hours, even though I don't preach at all, I'm giving my hours to the elders, and they have no problem with that. They are not interested in me. If I would not give the hours, I think that will be like a red flag. But as long as I have hours, I'm fine. So that's a very funny situation. It shows how much love the elders have.
Exactly. Exactly. The elders are nothing but managers. They're like the managers of a franchise.
The number. We want the number.
That's the only thing that counts. It's just the numbers,
Exactly.
Yeah.
So funny.
Anyway, I wish you all the best.
Thank you so
much. Please take care of yourself, because keeping up a pretense like this must have a really detrimental effect on your mental health. So please do whatever you need to do to look after yourself.
Tomorrow I have a psychologist appointment, so I need to. I'll make sure if I'm fine or not. So let's see.
Good. I'm pleased to hear that. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your
Thank you
views.
again
Thank
for
you.
having me. Bye.
You're welcome. Take care. Wow. Wow. Don't know what to say. Okay, let's go to some more comments. Oh, Matt has replied. Thanks, Matt. Nesbo, yeah, for any kingdom halls that had multiple congregations and not enough time slots for each congregation, it meant congregations had to take turns renting an outside venue. Yeah, it was exactly the same situation for us. If we expected more in attendance than could fit in the kingdom hall, then we would rent another location. Yeah, I wonder what the memorial attendance is going to be like this year. The in-person memorial attendance. I doubt anyone is going to be renting any halls. Okay, a comment from Mrs. Jexit. If your PIMO want to talk about going back to the kingdom halls after April 1st, join the live stream link above. You can. Thank you so much, Mrs. Jexit, for helping out. She's actually on a road trip at the moment. Thank you so much for pulling over and taking the time to help me out with the live stream. I really do appreciate it. Okay. Another comment from Yuppie Yuppa Yup. I told my PIMI wife fully vaccinated people still transmit COVID-19, so for kids, we will remain on Zoom. She agreed. So Zoom it is. I have no problem telling an elder. That's a really great strategy there. Yup. So I take it your wife is PIMI. Is that, am I reading that? Yes, you said so, yeah. So wow, that's a difficult situation. So you're PIMO, but your wife is PIMI. So you've got to try and navigate this situation and find a way to maintain the status quo and at the same time being true to yourself. Wow, I can't imagine how exhausting that must be. But thank you so much for sharing that. Okay. Oh, Ronnie, a comment from Ronnie. Hi, Ronnie. Thanks for joining us. My therapist told me on Thursday that 2 women came to her house in the door-to-door work. What? She was shocked. She said she thought of my experience and told them off and sent them back in. I'm really surprised. I'm wondering if that was sanctioned or if they just did that off their own back. Because there hasn't been any announcement about returning to the door-to-door work. So maybe these 2 sisters were just running ahead of the organization. Wow, that's really interesting. Okay. Let's see some more comments. I do apologize about the vibrations on my phone. I'm going to see if I can do anything about that. I'm sorry, I can't at the moment. I really do apologize. I will remember next time to silence my phone. I hope you're not hearing those vibrations because they're really loud. Okay. Marky Poo Poo 8 beans. Okay. I'm POMO. I haven't attended a meeting or a memorial since the spring of 2018 or a circuit assembly and a JW convention. And I'm glad I don't need to worry about this. And those days are long gone for me. Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. Those days are long gone for me as well. The last meeting I attended was actually the memorial of 2019. Yeah, and the last convention I attended was the summer of 2018. Gaia121, my good friend who I haven't spoken to in ages. Thank you so much. Hi, Riley. So many have left during the pandemic. I'm sure they feel getting them locked back in the Kingdom Hall is the only way to stop the rest following them. Yeah, it's highly possible. So many people have just left the organization since the start of the pandemic. It's unreal. And a good way of gauging the numbers is with the ExJW subreddit. I can't remember what the current numbers are. Let me just quickly check. That's usually like the first place people go to when they leave the organization and start, researching the organization online. So there are currently 72,000 members. When I joined in 2019, it was around about 60. And I think, like a few years before that, it was like nowhere near that. So it's like exploded. So yeah, it's possible that the organization have seen the numbers dipping. I mean, we all know how they love to cook the books where numbers are concerned. And, I guess that it's possible that they've said, we've got to do something, or, so many people are going to leave. But yeah, thank you very much, Gaia121, for your comment. And we have a couple of more people in the green room. we have Ronnie. Let me just add you to the stream, Ronnie. And we also have First Gen Apostates, another activist YouTube channel. Thank you both of you for joining. Can we all hear each other okay?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Do you have any echo from me?
No echo from you.
Oh, perfect. My headphones are broken. The mic is broken, so.
Okay. Great.
What I wanted to mention is like the last comment about capitalizing on the memorial to try and get as many people back in as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And what I was this is just like this is pure speculation, but trying to think about like the positive, trying to be like encouraging for the PIMO people, is that I'm betting that the elders are really going to have their hands full when people are back in person, because like the most thing that the elders had to deal with in our halls was like conflict between witnesses. And they've been separated for 2 years. And I know, at least I'm sure you've seen it on your channels, there's like the witness apologists who have gotten sucked into like the QAnon stuff, anti-vaccine things, very weird stuff.
Yes.
And so I'm expecting that there's going to be a lot of tension between the PIMOs that go back, because they've had 2 years separated from everybody else to kind of like go their own way. And now they're going to be all thrown back in the mix together. So my hope and like trying like encouraging thought to the PIMOs is like, you might be able to fly under the radar if you can get past like that initial point. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of much like the weird people are going to take all the attention off of you.
That is a really interesting point. That would never have occurred to me, but yeah, that makes a lot of sense. The elders are going to have, their hands so full with all of these issues that they literally might not have the bandwidth to chase up every single person who's missing from the meeting.
Yeah, and like the anti-vaccine talking points that have been like in the last governing body updates, like they're not going to talk about stuff that hasn't like drawing attention to that, like seems like they would only do that if it was a really big issue, and so they have to come down with like maximum authority, like it's coming from the top. So I'm thinking that's a pretty big issue throughout. Especially like the Mormons and the witnesses are very susceptible to like multi-level marketing schemes.
Oh, absolutely.
So like I think like the vaccine and other conspiracy theories, like they're equally susceptible, because you don't want your members having critical thinking, and so now they're vulnerable to everybody else who wants to take advantage of people like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm hoping that I don't know to expect this, but I'm really like hoping that the drop off in enthusiasm after the memorial like snowballs, because like when I was younger and my dad had talks out, or we as an adult and going on our own, it was very like depressing and demoralizing to go into the hall and only see a handful of other people. So it would be very interesting to see like if the attendance is very poor, it might cause more people to use Zoom, which means the attendance will be even more poor, and then you'll only have like the elders or like the super witness people actually going to the hall.
I can definitely see
another baseless speculation, but
but it's a highly plausible one nonetheless. What do you think about this, Ronnie?
It's interesting. I have an interesting situation going on that I didn't expect. It's like out of the blue. I've been faded for ages. We talked about this a long time. My brother was recently reinstated after 32 years back in the summer, and he has decided that now that the Kingdom Halls are going to open up, He needs to get the elders in my home congregation that I've been away since 1988 to come to contact the brothers where I live now, to have them come to see me to see if I can come back to the meetings.
Wait, what? He's taken it upon himself to arrange all of this.
Yes. So I told my husband about it, and my husband's non-JW, doesn't want to have anything to do with them. And I said, you know, we got to figure out a game plan on how to deal with this when these elders try to come by or call. They don't have I don't think he gave my phone number. I think he gave them my address. But it feels like an intrusion.
Of course.
It's just, I don't know. I don't have a lot of words for it, but I just wanted to say that's something that happened with me. And I don't know if it's a possibility for other people, but I wanted to put it out there because they're desperate for numbers and they're trying to go after them in any way possible. And I'm not going to be in that number. I just need to figure out what to do. But that blew me away. It's like, yeah, he took it upon himself to say, you need to come back and this is the way we're going to do it.
Wow. That is just incredible. that is incredible.
Yeah.
You know, I hear things like this a lot, not just with Jehovah's Witnesses, but with evangelical Christians in general, because they're so 100% convinced that they have the truth. Mm-hmm. They violate your boundaries without a second thought, because in their mind, they're doing the right thing.
Yeah, he wants to save me, and that's what I feel violated, totally violated.
Yeah. I mean, I even heard on TikTok somebody use this analogy the other day, saying that if you were stuck on a train track and I saw that a train was coming and you didn't see it and it was going to come and run you over, and I pushed you, even though it's not a nice thing to do to push someone in a life or death situation, and you're actually pushing them would actually saving their life, it's the right thing to do. You might be upset about being pushed, but when you realize the reason why they pushed you, you'd be grateful that they saved your life. Literally, that is the mentality that they have.
Yes, it is. It is. It's very sad. I mean, he was out 32 years and he's so indoctrinated now that I can't even have a conversation with him on the phone, just in that short period of time. And I hope this doesn't happen to anyone else, that they're just so desperate that they're going out and finding people I've been gone. It'll be 20 years in June or April. I'm sorry, 20 years in April. Mm-hmm. I have no desire to be a witness. I haven't practiced on all of that time. And he knows that, but like you said, they have the mentality that they have to save you. And this is his effort to come out and save me.
Wow. Well, wow. So have you decided what you're going to do when, if and when the elders do come knocking?
No, I really haven't. This came out of the blue, so I'm not really sure.
Wow.
I mean, I'm not going back in any way, shape, or form, but exactly how to handle it. I mean, my husband says, I'll tell them to get off the lawn or I'll call the police. And I said, well, that's up to you. But I'm not sure exactly yet how I'll handle it. I need to think about it and process it because I just found this out yesterday.
Sure. Wow. Well, whatever you do decide to do, I hope it goes well.
Thank you.
You were about to say something?
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, I don't know if this would fly as an excuse, but you could always claim headship. Like, oh, my husband doesn't want to do that, and I want to win him over without a word. So I'm trying to butter him up. So don't push too hard, because I think in a few years he might come around. We just have to be real gentle.
That's a good one.
That is a really good one. That is a great idea.
There was a couple excuses I wanted to share because it might be helpful. There's a couple excuses I'd seen that might be good. So like the comment about the unvaccinated people was good, or if you have young kids and they're not eligible. Gas prices. And I don't know if you want to spin that towards, I want to be able to devote those funds to the preaching work rather than spending it on gas, so I'm going to stay home. But I also thought you might be able to say, like, anxiety being around people and Zoom is better, or even like I feel like I can focus more when I'm on Zoom, and so it's better for my spirituality, so I'm gonna stick with this sort of thing. It's gonna be
really
it's gonna be
ideas.
challenging.
Yeah, really good ideas. Well, thank you both for coming on and sharing your thoughts on this. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thanks for having us.
All right, take care. Okay, so I'll put the link up again. Yeah, if you would like to come on and share your thoughts about this issue, as particularly if you're a PIMO and this is going to affect you going back to in-person meetings, we'd love to hear your thoughts. So please follow that link and come onto the channel. I'll also put it in the live chat as well, which is right there. Okay, let's read some more comments. Lots of comments about, I'm really behind on the comments. Sorry, guys. Lots of comments about the sound being better now. Okay, so Jockett says, just what one does for a living. Live when the need is great. Put kingdom first. Suspend life, so to speak. No friends and not easy to reach out. Yep, the life of a witness, unfortunately. Okay, here's an interesting comment from Takel927. The governing body have not had meetings for some time, for some reason, but it's not because they care so much about witness. They cared about witnesses. If they cared about witnesses, they'd help them. Yeah, absolutely. This organization, ever since I was a kid, I'd heard this expression, and I'm sure it won't be new to any of you. The world will chew you up and spit you out. Well, in my experience, the only thing that chewed me up and spat me out was this organization. Because that's what they do. They just use people. They just use you. That's all they do. They don't care about individual witnesses at all. You're a cog, a very, very small cog in a gigantic machine. That's all you are. Comment here from Mark Wetherill. It's the March 21 accounts that were all overdue. Reason being, they were all merged with the Kingdom Hall Trust as of very recently. Thank you for clarifying that. That's very interesting. What do you think about the situation with the organization's charity status as far as the Kingdom Halls are concerned? Please let me know. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on that. Okay, I'm sorry that I can't put up all of your comments. There are so many, and I'm really, really behind on all of them. Okay, having to go back in person to a hall much farther away because yours was sold with record high gas prices will be a hard sell for the organization. Yeah, definitely. Because these are real things that we're talking about. These are real issues that affect people. Also, this just came to my mind. Most of you will be old enough to remember when we had the book study arrangement in somebody's home once a week. And one of the reasons, which is probably just an excuse, I'm sure, that the organizations gave for ending that arrangement was because of the financial cost of having to travel to another meeting one more day in the week. So if they really do care about, how much witnesses are spending on gas to travel to the meetings, then this excuse should, in theory, work. But we all know what this organization is like. When it's a reason for them to do something, it will be completely acceptable. But when it's a reason for witnesses to do something, then it won't be. Okay. Oh, here's an interesting comment. If they lose charity status, does that mean they won't get government grants? My honest answer to that is I'm not sure. I'm not sure if here in the UK, congregations do get any government grants. They definitely get tax exemption status for being a charity. So presumably once that goes, then they would lose that tax exemption status. The individual congregations will. Whether or not the UK-based umbrella organization will is another matter. I don't think they're losing their charity status at the moment, but just the local congregations, if that makes any sense. I hope I just haven't confused matters further. An Island Girl says, so many are awake, how will they ever go back? Yeah, there are so many people that have woken up over this, the course of this pandemic. But I don't think it's enough to really bring the organization for crumbling down at this stage. There will still be a lot of hardcore witnesses who will be more than happy to go back to the Kingdom Hall. Whether they would fill up their congregation or not is another matter, but I don't think it would be too few to make going to in-person meetings unsustainable, if that makes sense. Okay. Okay, here's a comment from Observe, clever name. I won't do it from the organization April 2016. After 48 years, true devotion to a lie. Why are you all not walking away from the lie? Yeah, I guess everybody's got to make their own personal decision. And the thing is this, leaving this organization isn't like leaving a mainstream religion. Leaving the Jehovah's Witness organization comes with a cost. You have to pay a price. But that price isn't exactly the same for everyone. For some people, the price is extremely high. And for some people, it's affordable, so to speak. So everyone has to make their own decision as to whether or not they can afford that cost. Some people can, some people can't. So, I think everyone just has to make their own decision and, be happy with their own individual decision while accepting that other people will make a different one. That's how that goes. Okay, PIMO JW observations. My son is an elder and he said he is curious to go to the meetings to see how people will handle the COVID paranoia. He at least is cynical about how things are handled with pushing the COVID jab. Yeah, that's interesting. And yeah, that was something that a previous, I can't remember who it was who joined, who brought up the issue of, the vax versus anti-vax thing. That's a whole nother dimension that I hadn't thought about. Yeah, that's something that, is going to keep the elders very, very busy, I'm sure. Okay, here's a comment from Kaz24. My mum, who is in the UK, has been told that individual congregations have a choice as to if and when they open up. She has not heard anything yet from hers. Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that being the case. But the thing is as well, is that the trend in the organization over the past few years is to be taking, is to making individual congregations less and less autonomous. I mean, with the selling off of the Kingdom Halls to the Kingdom Hall Trust, that was just like a huge dent in the autonomy of each congregation. But even when it comes down to this, the elders making local decisions, they're having less and less freedom to do that. So I do think that there will be some latitude when it comes to in-person meetings at a local level, but there will still be, you know, direction coming from up top. So I guess we just have to wait and see how it all plays out. Okay, let me try and get, because I'm so behind on these comments, let me try and get some newer ones. I'm so sorry, guys, that I can't, you know, put all of your comments up. It's just becoming a bit overwhelming. There's just so many. Okay. Okay, Sparkle Canada. Jexit is that way, similar to other narcissistic relationships. Some walk away easily and soon, others have a harder time because of years of abuse, but it can be done. Yeah, that's absolutely true. It can be done. It's just a matter of, you know, how, when, and how much it's going to cost you. And a comment from Shirley Anthony. Would they be going back out in the ministry? Honest answer is that we don't know. We don't know yet at this stage. Just have to wait and see. I think Nesbo mentioned earlier that she's heard a rumor about them returning to the ministry in September. So yeah, again, that's just speculation. We just have to wait and see how it all plays out. And my good friend from TikTok, ex-witness awake. Hello, I didn't realize this was going on. Yeah, this is going on. If you've got time and it's not too late where you in your part of the world, please feel free to join. I'm going to put the link up again. So this is the link to the live stream. If you're so inclined, feel free to join and yeah, come into the studio. Okay, no new comments. Let me go back on some older ones. This is interesting from Maureen. The real reason to end the book study arrangement was because it was difficult to regulate the conversations. People would have in-depth, non-watchtower controlled discussions about the material. I 100% agree with you. I'm almost certain that this was the reason why they stopped the book study arrangement. And again, another thing with narcissists that they are extremely good at is doing something and giving you a plausible reason for why they're doing it, which isn't actually the real reason. Narcissists always have two reasons why they do anything. They'll have their real reason, which is usually motivated by self-interest, and then a plausible public-facing reason that they tell everybody else. And the reason that they told everybody else, or one of the reasons that I heard, was about the cost of traveling to the meeting for some brothers and sisters. But I'm certain, I'm almost certain that this was the real reason, because they couldn't regulate the conversations that people would have about the Bible after the meeting had finished. I even heard that there was a case of some elders kind of like gathering their own little flock within their book study, you know, and Watchtower got wind of it and decided, no, we can't have any of that. So they shut it all down. But yeah, thanks for your comment. 100% agree. Okay, ex-witness awake. It will be interesting to see how the public reacts to JWs coming to their doors again. Yeah, it will be very, very interesting. It will be very, very interesting. I'm just glad that I'm not the one that's going to be doing it. Okay. Extremely large slug. Thank you. You're a regular on the channel. Thank you so much. Okay. The majority of believing JWs don't want to go back to in-person meetings. Even one of my elders liked a meme photo of a person showing a disgusting face when reading the recent announcement. I can well believe that. I can well believe that. I know that if I was a believing Jehovah's Witness right now, this would be my worst nightmare. This would definitely be my worst nightmare. Okay, from Nesbo. Book study was the best of the three, unless you ended up at a weird house. And until we had to do the Revelation book for the 100 millionth time. I'm glad I'm not the only one who's old enough to remember doing a Revelation book over and over and over again. Oh my goodness me, that book. Oh, that book. But yes, you're right. The book study night was the best one of the night because, first of all, when I was a kid, there were loads of other kids in the congregation. So after book study night, we would all just play. And then when I was a teenager, the book study was at my friend's house. And he'd just gotten a games console. I think it was a Sega or probably a Sega. So after the book study, we would just go into his room and we would just play video games. And then there were the nights where you had like treats like tea and biscuits and cake and stuff like that. Those were the only good things about the book study night. Yeah, so when that ended, I was upset. Okay, here's a comment from Tammy G. I expected the call. It was very sad to me because I know this cult is going to use those family members for the rest of their lives. I'm not 100% sure what that is in reference to because, as I said, I'm really behind with the comments. But yes, the cult, they will use your family to pressure you into coming back. You know, I'm fortunate enough, or depending on how you look at it, I'm fortunate enough not to get those come back to Jehovah texts because I'm a mentally diseased apostate who's not supposed to be contacted. So I'm spared all of that. But, you know, many people aren't. So they're receiving all of that kind of pressure, and I'm sure it can't be easy. Okay. Peaceful Lady asks, will Zoom still be available? They may stop it. I faded over a year. They sent me the info. I'm not going back. May go to the memorial just to show face. I don't think, you know, in answer to your question, I don't think they're going to stop the Zoom meetings completely. The reason being is that the Zoom meetings were a thing before the pandemic even started. So if the pandemic wasn't the reason to start having Zoom meetings, it's probably not going to be the reason to stop it. It was a convenience for people with difficult circumstances, like people who are bedbound or people who are, you know, housebound and, you know, things like that. So I think Zoom meetings in some way, shape or form is here to stay. But after the 1st of April, it will no longer be the primary way in which witnesses attend the meetings. I think that's the main gist of this announcement. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's make this the last comment. DV, I've been out 28 years and received calls from JW family recently, especially after governing body announcement. Wow, after 28 years out, they still send you texts about coming back to Jehovah. Wow. Yeah, they're relentless. And yes, especially after governing body announcements, because it's all fear mongering. That's what it is. It's all fear mongering. Okay, let's have a couple more comments. They're still really coming through a lot. Cas24. In the UK, each kingdom will no longer have individual charity status. It has now been amalgamated to one single charity called Kingdom Hall Trust. Don't think there are individual trustees either. Thank you for clarifying that. I wasn't actually aware of that. It seemed like that's the direction that they were going in, but I didn't realize that it was like that already. So thank you for that bit of information. And Michelle, my friend Michelle, the ExJW witch, says extra cheese, please. They removed it. I think you're referring to the announcement on the website, and yes, they have removed it. I checked just before I came on the live. I don't know why it's been removed. It may just be because they needed to make space on that web page for something else. It may be because there's something going on behind the scenes. Don't really know. We'll just have to wait and see. Oh, this is interesting, Nesbo. I reckon Watchtower is working on its own video conferencing software. Praise John. So that it doesn't have to rely on worldly Zoom. Yeah, I think you could be right. I definitely think you could be right. I mean, 3 years ago when I was in, they were always looking for people with software development experience. So it wouldn't surprise me if they were actually working on something as we speak. Okay, yes, and Michelle is actually joining us. Let's add you to the stream.
Hello.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, I'm great, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us.
I thought I might jump in for a little bit.
Great, thank you. So what do you think about all of this?
So for me, like, because I left, like I woke up in October 2020 and officially left via social media in February 2021. I kind of like, I haven't had to worry about seeing anyone around at the hall because it's very close to where I work and out and about. And then I myself have sort of been mildly agoraphobic, I guess, since leaving, and I'm working through that all. But so now I kind of have all this anxiety that I'm going to start seeing everyone around again and how they're going to react to me. And I know I feel kind of silly because it's like it in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter. Like I'm doing my own thing. But it's definitely something that I hadn't really thought about. I thought they wouldn't be going back to meetings for quite some time. And I can imagine that, you know, those of us that did wake up during the pandemic and Zoom made it easier for us in that sense, we all might be having that kind of anxiety, I guess.
That's a really interesting point. And yeah. I mean, I hadn't thought about that either. It's not just the case that witnesses haven't been going to the meetings anymore. They literally haven't been on the street. I mean, if you go to any major metropolitan area, you were absolutely bound to see witnesses. Either witnesses on the ministry, witnesses doing the cart witnessing, or
and just people doing informal.
Exactly, yeah, or just people that you know. I left the organization in 2019, April 2019. So coming up to 3 years now, to the day almost. And I can count on one hand the amount of times that I've actually crossed paths with a witness in the street.
Yeah.
Literally, on one hand, I can count the amount of time.
And I've been thinking about that recently as well. I've thought, I mean, it's been a year and 1 month since I officially left. And I've seen like maybe 4 people.
Yeah.
And from a distance. But then I've also thought, like, if they've seen me, they've seen my pink hair and like hidden themselves.
Yeah.
So, like, there's that apostate.
Exactly. But presumably when they go back to meetings and ministry and public cart witnessing, that is all going to change. They're going to be out in force, or if there are any of them left.
Yeah.
But sorry, go on.
No, I was just thinking, you know, about how there are going to be people left because, like, you know, we've got all the PIMOs who are staying in for family, and like, obviously they can't leave because it's a very difficult situation. And I was fortunate that my family left the organization before I did, but so I was by myself there for a good 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have the people, the family connections holding me in, which is why I left. But I can imagine it's extremely difficult for those that are stuck in there, and they'll probably continue going. So I think, you know, as you've said earlier, it's not going to crumble anytime soon.
Yeah. True. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for jumping on and sharing your thoughts on this situation.
That's all right. Thanks for having me and for doing this.
You're most welcome. You're most welcome. It's been a pleasure.
All right. We'll see you later.
Okay. Speak soon. Tongue-tied. Speak to you soon. Take care. Okay, and we have someone else in the green room, ex-witness awake. But just before I bring you on, I'm just going to put up this comment from Jackie J. Thank you very much, Jackie, for joining us. So Jackie says, my mum doesn't want to go back to the Kingdom Hall. I suppose they will say those who don't return are spiritually weak, a way of bullying them to return. That's an interesting point. Yeah. Personally, I think that I like to think that there will be so many people who don't return that it will be too many people to label as spiritually weak, unless you're going to call half the congregation spiritually weak. But yeah, I think there will be a lot of people who will not want to return, not necessarily because they're PIMO, just because they've just gotten used to attending from home and the convenience of that, you know. So yeah, again, this is all speculation. We'll just have to wait and see. Okay, so let's bring on ex-witness awake. How are you doing? Can you hear us?
Hello.
Hey, I can hear you. Yeah, how are you doing? Oh, the sound is really distorted.
I'm just working today, but I couldn't resist popping in to say hello.
I'm really sorry. I can't make out what you're saying. I can hear you, but I can't hear you clearly enough to know what you're saying.
Sorry, just a moment, please.
I think you said, wait a moment.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, that is much better. Thank you.
Okay, good.
Great. How are you doing?
Yeah, I was just not bad. I'm just working today, but I thought I'd pop in to say hello and support your broadcast today.
Thank you very much. I really do appreciate that. And I've been seeing your YouTube videos as well. I've enjoyed listening to those. They've been great. Thank you. Keep that up.
I almost know what I'm doing.
Well, I've been doing this a couple of years now, and I still haven't got it figured out yet. So what do you think about this situation?
Yeah, it's always getting there, right?
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking about, I had kind of compared it to somebody being in prison, and COVID was basically being put on house arrest for 2 years. And then now you're having to report back to prison. So I can imagine how terrifying that must be for PIMOs when, you know, they've had an opportunity to basically, you know, rest easy for a little bit. And now they're going to have to put on that face of yep, I believe.
The kingdom smile.
You know, they really don't. Grin and bear it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Oh. Yeah.
And I
how
think
long have you been out?
I agree with you that Zoom's going to continue because, as you said, it was there before. But also, I remember before they have that available, people would call into the individual halls just to listen in. So why wouldn't they keep this technology for those who need it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think they will do that. So how long have you been out of the organization?
Myself, I was out in 2011, and I really woke up to everything in the last, I'd say, 2 or 3 years now.
Oh wow! So you were POMI for
point.
quite some time.
Well, I was just fellowshipped, but
right.
Because physically out, mentally in. Yeah, so POMI. That's right.
Yeah.
So you know how it is. You're out for a bit, but your beliefs are still there. You're thinking, I've got to make things right with Jehovah and the organization, and then it's only after a certain amount of time you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
This isn't right.
Yeah. Exactly.
You give yourself permission to do the research and things like that, and then you come to discover what a whitewashed grave the organization really is.
Yeah. Absolutely. But thank you so much for joining and sharing your perspective.
Thank you, and keep up the good work.
Yeah, you too. Keep up the good work on TikTok and on YouTube as well.
Thank you very much.
All right. Take care.
Bye now.
Bye. Okay, so here's a comment from one of my channel's best supporters, Fade to X. Thank you so much. Having some small kids and going to night meetings was always difficult. Parents who are used to being able to put their kids to bed and listen in, even if they are PIMO, are not going to want to start doing that again. Absolutely, I completely agree. I mean, I know how difficult it is, attending meetings with young children on a school night. And those parents have been spoiled now over the course of the pandemic, not having to worry about that. This is gonna really, really hurt them. And I can imagine a lot of them just saying, no, I'm sorry, I'm not doing that. PIMOJW observations. I like what he said about giving yourself permission to do the research. I did that 2 months ago. Yeah. And that's a phrase that a lot of people use when they're waking up. And I know I used that when I was waking up as well. When I done my first video, that was exactly the word for word phrase that I used as well. I gave myself permission to research because we were told that we weren't allowed to, So that's what it is about. It's about, becoming autonomous and, allowing yourself to peek behind the curtain. But yeah, I think we've been going nearly an hour and 3/4. So I think we should wrap this up now, but this has been a great discussion. Thank you so much, everyone who's participated, whether you joined in the stream or just liked the video or sent in a comment. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciated this. This is the first live stream that I've done in a while. And I've been very, very nervous throughout because I've kind of lost my bearings a little bit and I'm doing things a little bit differently too. So thank you so much for all of your participation. Really appreciate this. Even though after the stream is finished, please feel free to keep on the discussion in the comment section on YouTube. The stream went out on Facebook as well. If you've liked my Facebook page, please feel free to go over there as well and discuss it if you're watching from Facebook. But thank you so much again, everybody. Really, really do appreciate this. Looking forward to the next live stream. Not sure what it's going to be about yet, but I've enjoyed this so much. I really want to do another one soon. So thanks again. Please proceed to the exit in an orderly fashion, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching to the very end of the video. If you haven't already done so, please like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. If you like my work and want to help me continue doing it, please support me on Patreon at patreon.com/Jexit_2020.